YouTube viewers, Rectangular back, this time with a modification video for the Walgreens exclusive Marvel Legends Silver Centurion released in 2020. If you own this figure, you know that he does not have an actual sculpted functional neck. Instead, he just has a dumbbell ball peg and the head has a sculpted neck attached to it. The lack of an actual neck joint makes it near impossible to do head swaps or to use the unmasked 80th anniversary Tony Stark head or pretty much any other head on this figure. In order to do this simple modification, you will need the Toy Biz Silver Centurion or possibly the Series 1 Iron Man from Toy Biz Marvel Legends. You will also need a set of needle nose pliers, some wire cutters, an expendable mug, or a hair dryer or a heat gun. You might also need some automotive or fine grit sandpaper, a Dremel, some sticky tack putty of some kind, and possibly a few extra small neodymium rare earth magnets and some super glue. If you want to go the extra mile, you will also need a box knife. As always, if you are under 18 years old, please use adult supervision when using any of the tools that I mentioned. If you are concerned at all about the paint on your old Toy Biz Silver Centurion, then please do not use hot water to heat up the head and neck, or you might cause damage to the paint but not the figure itself. If you prefer removing figure parts with hot water, then fill an old mug about 3/4 full of water and put it in the microwave for about 2.5 to 3 minutes. Next, dunk the figure in the water about chest deep for 2 minutes. Please be careful not to burn yourself and quickly pull the head from the neck of the figure. If you prefer using a hairdryer or heat gun, apply heat to the head evenly for about 2 minutes without getting too close to the heat source. Then quickly remove the head from the neck. If all goes well, the head will be free from the neck peg. But in either case, you will need to apply more heat and use some needle nose pliers to remove the peg. Here you can see one example of the peg still inside the head and another example of the peg still attached to the torso. I prefer using the curved needle nose pliers to get into those tight spaces to remove the pegs. The neck might come off attached to the head, or most likely it is still attached to the torso. In either case, you will need to heat up and gently pull it off the peg. This will leave you with a neck and head free of any pegs. There might be missing paint on the neck, especially at the bottom, but hopefully the neck is mostly intact and will only be slightly damaged. The first time I did this, the neck was cracked and slightly warped at the bottom, but I ended up sanding down most of the damaged area anyway and using super glue to repair the crack. Here you can see the difference between the standard neck and the one that I sanded down, which is about 2 millimeters shorter and better looking in my opinion. I recommend sanding off 2 millimeters from the base of the neck with fine grit sandpaper and using super glue to repair any damage. Next, you will need to cut the ball off of the neck of the Hasbro figure with some snips or wire cutters. Be careful not to cut off the length of the peg unless you intend to just glue the neck into one position. Next, you will probably need to Dremel some space inside the bottom of the Toy Biz neck to accommodate the Hasbro neck peg. Now you will need to apply a small amount of sticky tack to the hole in the Toy Biz neck. Place the Toy Biz neck with the sticky tack directly on top of the Hasbro neck peg. If any sticky tack is showing, just remove the excess and reattach. Now you have the ability to place the 80th anniversary unmasked Tony Stark head with more sticky tack, along with the old Toy Biz head as well. If you only have one Hasbro Silver Centurion and or you want to go the extra mile, you can modify the head from the Hasbro figure to work on the Toy Biz neck. You will need to slowly and carefully cut off about 6 millimeters of the neck on the Hasbro head. I recommend starting with a fresh box knife blade at the front just below the faceplate. Gently rock the blade side to side until you have sunk the blade a couple of millimeters deep. Next, remove the blade and do the same thing to the back side of the head, just below the first molded ridge line. Keep working your cuts back and forth on each side until you meet both cuts in the middle of the neck. You will have a ring of plastic removed that should look like this. Next, you should gently sand the base of your modified Hasbro neck to remove any rough edges or uneven areas. Now you will need to Dremel out most of the inner peg hole to accommodate the Toy Biz neck. Go slow and make sure you don't get too close to the face plate. You want to sand down or shave down just deep enough where you can see the silver plastic of the faceplate. Take off a little bit of plastic at a time while testing to see how it sits on the neck until you are happy with the results. If all goes well, you will probably not need sticky tack to keep the head secured somewhat snug in a variety of positions, giving you much better options for flying poses. I think this modification gives you the best options for head swaps and superior articulation while maintaining a good balance of aesthetics with a neck that is only 1 millimeter wider than the 80th anniversary Iron Man body and 2 millimeters narrower than the stock Hasbro Silver Centurion figure. Hopefully a shrewd person in the head casting community will make a cast of a similar modified neck like this to offer for sale. Please let me know what you think of this tutorial in the comments below. Make sure you hit the like, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.
That's crispy.